Alright, what's going on, everybody? The 500 still broke down. I've got the piston cylinder kit on the way. I did clean this up quite a bit and got a lot of the aluminum transfer out. This is my saw, and yes, I sanded it. Or cleaned it up with sandpaper. 220 and then 400 grit. But anyway, I know all you still 30-year-old technicians are crapping yourself. At least one guy that comments on every video I talk about cleaning cylinders. You can't do that. It's wrong. Well, I mean, you know, if this was my saw, I would put it back on there and run it. But being it's a production saw, it gets worked at least 40 to 60 hours a week. You know, they log 5 to 7 days a week, 10 hours a day. So if they can, when they can, you know, while the weather's good and everything. But anyway, since it's production, I went ahead and ordered a new piston and slug and jug or whatever, new piston and cylinder. But, you know, I would run that one for myself because I have quite a few saws and, you know, I don't cut just all the time, you know. Most I'm putting on them 20 to 30 hours a week when I'm busy, you know. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, just depending on, but, you know, when you got 5 or 6 saws, it helps out, which they have quite a few saws too. But, you know, they got quite a few guys running. Anyway, this is the main reason why I wanted to make this video. This is the old 592, the very first one that had the carb issues, that was at the dealer forever and they couldn't fix, blah, 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 blah. Well, of course, I converted it to a 585, and then the piston in it grenaded, and it was all OEM. But I had this 592 piston cylinder from the dealer where they had put it on the other saw, and they pretty much give it to me since it had been waited so long, and I knocked money off of the labor to keep the parts because I knew I was having a 592 come, so I thought never hurts to have a spare cylinder laying around, or I thought I'd sell it. But anyway, I know there's a lot of you going to be, oh my gosh, why didn't you leave it M-tronic or auto-tune? It makes no sense. Well, I would have, but for some reason, the auto-tune carb would not purge. That's the second one I've had an issue with. And this has the 592 coil on it as well. I changed the flywheel out because the flywheel was rough on the other one. But both coils were broke. Apparently the 585 and the 592s have a real issue with those wires coming out, getting hung in the flywheel, or something happens to them. Because this was originally, the wires were originally broke, and when that 585 come into me this time with the busted piston, the wires on the coil was broke. But I put me some the gasket over the wires, and so they would maybe glue, you know, kind of glue them in there. And I may do that to that new 592 as well. And I know, you know, let's say everybody's not going to agree with me, but I've had guys, I can't believe you used a screwdriver to peck. You should have got you a brass hammer. You know, all that kind of jazz. I'm, like I say, more of a get-it-done kind of guy. And the reason why I didn't leave this auto-tune is because the carb was no good. And I'm trying to make this, was trying to have no money in it. Take the parts out of 2 saws that were good and make one. And I've accomplished that. It does fire up. I'm going to have to find my tuning driver for the Huskies to probably tune it, I'm sure. I did muffler mod it. And I did it through that so I could take that off. You know, I'm going to take that off and I'll put some spark arrestor material in there. But yes, if the carb would have been good on the auto tune, I would have most definitely preferred auto tune. Anybody that knows me and watches my channels on YouTube, or maybe not TikTok, but on YouTube, knows that I'm an M-tronic and auto tune kind of guy. I'm not crazy. I'd rather have that than a carb saw myself. But the main point of this video is to show that you can convert a 592 to carb if you want to. I don't know why you'd want to, unless you're in a situation like me. You got two saws and you want to make one good one. So it will work. It did pop off earlier, fire up, and I did splice the coil wire back together, and then that seemed to work fine too. Now, it may not would work had I, left if the auto tune carb would have been good, it may not have worked, because I don't know exactly which wire. It was the blue wire, so I don't know what that controls. So originally, I don't know what the problem was with this saw. I don't know that, if it was the carb, why it wouldn't purging. It seemed like it had an air in it, but this one's purging fine. The other one wouldn't. Like I say, that's the second 592 carb I've had trouble with that. It's got nothing to do with the line. Everybody says that. It's got the updated line on it. It's something in the carb. I'm not a carb specialist, so I have no idea. But I spliced the coil, and it seemed to work. So I've got a running saw. I'm going to run this a little bit and see what's up with it. If anybody, make sure it's going to be reliable or be runnable or whatever. But this saw will probably be for sale in the near future. And then I'll get this 500 back together, and I'll let them, or he can come pick it up. He's buying that Buxton 592, so I took this in on trade because I knew I had some parts laying around, and I'm selling that saw. So I'm gonna sell that and sell this, and things like that, because I'm wanting to buy a Mastermind 462. He's got them things running pretty hot. I'm wanting to get another 462. Like the 572 is pretty good, but the 462 is really light, and they're pretty good on gas. They're more like a Husky than any other Stihl model, as versus the 400, 500, and the 661. I think they get good fuel mileage. They're smooth, and they're light. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I mean, I was kind of shocked that this worked, honestly. And I deleted the base gasket and cut the squish, raised the exhaust and transfers a little bit, so it's mildly ported. It's not had 50,000 took off the base or whatever, but I've measured that base gasket at about, I think it was 25 or 30 thou. No, yeah, I can't remember. But anyway, we'll catch y'all later. Just thought I'd show you that this is back up running. It will work. And I'm going to blow this filter out, and we may get a video of it running here shortly. But I wanted to show that this is a 592 cylinder, which I don't know that you can tell that, but it's the one I had left over from last time. Got no reason to lie to you. And this is the 585 carb, because all you got, I've been cleaning on my shop too, because everything's a mess. This is the 585, and this is the auto tune carb. So this is the 585 cylinder. So yeah, it'll work. It's just I've got most of my benches cleaned off. I got to sweep the floor up, but I've been doing crap everywhere. I got more saws to work on too. So anyway, we'll catch y'all later. Appreciate it.